Welcome to Boss Battles. This is our battle reaction show, and I'm so pleased to welcome to our channel James and Thomas from the Quest and Chaos YouTube channel, and they have run a campaign for Ryman the Frost Maiden, but additionally they do all kinds of other RPGs, and I thought that would be an interesting perspective to have with people who are playing other things, because I think that one way to get to be a really good game master is to play lots of different games. And so I thought you guys could bring that perspective. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, it's great to be here, Paul.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, so in this reaction show, we're going to be watching clips, as you know, and then we'll just talk a little bit about the clips in succession. The first one we're going to look at is at the beginning of the battle. It was an unexpected moment. One of the players couldn't make it, and the rest of the team decides to go ahead. They improvise, and although I don't explicitly talk about it, I think there's a new rule in the 2024 edition that kind of talks about social interactions, which I like. So let's just head on in. We'll look at the clip and then come back and talk about it.
Mara says, I suppose the real question is, do you want to take two boats or one? And she puts it to you that way.
I think so one should be.
I'm going to take
if they're built for 6, then it would be difficult for the 3 of us to take 2 boats.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we're going to say that in terms of how this will work, you know, if you have 2 people rowing the boat, it's going to go faster than if you have 1 person rowing it. If you have 2 boats, it's the question: do you want to put all your eggs in one basket? That's essentially what she's pointing to.
One basket. Let's put them all in one basket.
Go ahead. So you were considering about the we're back. You were considering about the boats.
If there is a monster, having a second boat would be good in case one gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Firmly agree.
But without a 4th person, we could make the lady who recruited us come with us in the boat. She can help row. She wants to save her kids, right?
Right. Conspicuously, she's wearing like a red tunic.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Oh, it's Star Trek reference. You know, red shirt.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, the red shirt.
All right. Now it means something to me. If we bring her along, she's not coming back.
Oh no, that's not the case. I mean, just how good is the Captain Kirk in this episode? So she's like, are you expecting me to go out in the boats with you?
I mean, it is your kids we're trying to save.
Okay, so go ahead and make a persuasion check. Or are you going to use intimidation? You're going to threaten the poor. Persuasion. 23.
And I got a 23.
She goes, you know what? That makes good sense. I can be of hand. Of course, I want to. And if my sons don't come back, I don't want to come back either. So she agrees to be a helping hand.
Okay, so that was our first clip, and I put it in one because I thought it was a fun social interaction, and in the actual video of the episode, which I'll put a link to at the end of this, where where my head is as the commentator is the NPC Mara, who they convinced to join them, which I thought was really clever. And I love that about RPGs, in that there's unexpected solutions to odd problems. And then I guess one other thing I wanted to bring up was this new rule that came in 2024 about social interactions, which can apply to different situations wherein that. I think it gives the dungeon master the ability to say, like, yes, this person you're interacting with just cannot be convinced, and that's part of the new rule, which is not the case here, but I kind of like that take. Okay, I'm I'm going to stop talking. What do you guys think?
No, I think that's a great way to put it, because a lot of other systems, they do create, what is it? I think it's like high impact, medium impact, and like low impact kind of situations. And D&D is a bit more in flux, especially in 2015 Dungeons Master's Guide. So to actually have something in the 2024 version to say, no, sometimes the thing you want to bring with you, even if you think it's cute and adorable, does not want to go with you.
Right. Yeah. And especially I think at higher levels, when you have a rogue or somebody else who's got specialty or reliable talent and they can't roll under a 26 or something, you could just like break any social encounter.
Yeah, I mean, in this scenario, it totally makes sense that she would go.
Right. Right.
I love the. Are you sure you don't want to use intimidation as an option? Just be like, get in the boat.
Yeah, right. That would have, they could have taken it that way, and especially since it's a series of one shots, there would have been like zero repercussions. But it could have created an awkward moment, which there is another awkward moment coming up with the NPC Mara, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
I like the character as a rental car.
Yeah, right. So that was it. The first clip, the unexpected NPC, and we got that interesting new social interaction option or way to adjudicate things from the 2024 rules. Okay, so let's move on and check out our second clip.
Dragon, you're first in the initiative. I'm going to say that the Berlin Ram moves first, and with two rowers, you can go 20 feet per round in terms of movement. So, what direction do you want to move in? If I zoom out on the map a little bit, you're roughly like half, a little bit to the north of the map, but kind of halfway, right at the edge of the lake, we're going to say.
Basically, more or less where your mouse is now.
Okay. So you're going to, so move forward. I'm going to go ahead.
Probably not at our full speed, probably only 15 feet or so, 10, so that they can keep up with us. Or 15, I guess there's two people in the second
20. It becomes apparent to you that in game terms, meta terms, if it's underneath the water, you're not going to be able to see it. And so if you're going to try and attack it, it's going to need to be like out of the water, or you're going to have to you're essentially going to have an action ready, an attack action ready, and see if it surfaces or do something else.
So the things that in this clip that we saw, it was basically this boring thing where somebody's counting out 5, 10, 15, 20 their movement. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about briefly was the movement. That there's a new rule that kind of clarified, does moving diagonally count as 5 feet, given that you're traveling the hypotenuse? And I play with people who this is important to, or at least some of the people, whereas it doesn't really bother me. Right. I don't know. What are y'all's experience with that? Do your players get into that extra dimension?
So third edition had, if you move diagonally, every other square was 10 feet of movement. So it was 5 and then 10 and then 5 and then 10. Move diagonally. And then in fifth edition, they got rid of that. But everybody was, so used to one and then playing the other. And I think, we're a decade into fifth edition now. I think things are finally like, no, this is what it is in game terms.
They put this new box in the 2024 saying that essentially the diagonal is just a box. Just count boxes.
Yeah.
Although that the ruler tool doesn't work that way, right? So 30 feet is, if you go 5 boxes, it's going to be longer than 30 feet on a diagonal. So there's still like this mixed message, which basically I think says like, It's like that Saturday Night Live sketch where it's William Shatner at a conference, and the person's asking him the super detailed question. He's like, "This doesn't matter," And so
exactly.
it's a game. That's how I feel, but I know that people feel strongly about movement, and I suppose if it were going to lead to like a character death or a major plot point twist, you would want to be careful with that. But I think that there's good ways to do that otherwise, just by being
If you're playing in person and you have a map, counting squares is super fast, right?
right. Yeah.
Whereas if you have a ruler, that's a ruler on the table would be a lot slower, but a ruler on a virtual platform is a lot faster. So it's kind of a it's based on how you're playing, which is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to circle back on, go ahead.
No, I'm done with you. Go ahead. Circling
back.
I
was just gonna say, circling back to how it might affect character death and surprises along the way. I just try to treat it in kind, where it's like, if y'all get 30 feet on the diagonal, I also get 30 feet on the diagonal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you just do the exact same thing. Correct. Yeah. So the other movement things at this clip, I guess, or just that the scenario brought in was the movement with the boats, and I added this in. Like, I think the rules, if you look it up, they say a rowboat can go 1.5 miles in an hour, which, like, if you do the math out, which I kind of did, it turns into be like they can go like 12 feet around, which didn't make much sense. And so I just said, like, okay, you can go faster if there's 2 people rowing, 20 feet, and you can go slower if there's 1 person rowing, which I think, gave a good trade-off, right? Do you want to do something, or do you want to move towards the kids? Right. And that was, I think, a way to make a first level adventure interesting and give more options to do things.
Especially with you don't know what's happening with the kids. Is like, is it a ticking time clock? Do I need to get there faster? But if I go faster, am I attracting what might be a monster in the lake? And should I be ready for that monster in the lake? So I think on a tactical level, it's simple. It's like, do I move or do I do an action? But it gives folks, especially for first level, if this is a newer adventure for folks, to start thinking strategically about one or the other.
Yeah. I think talking about that, doing a if I as a character say, oh, I want to go extremely stealthy, so I'm going to very gently lower, you might only move 5 feet around, gently lower the oars in and push,
right,
go very methodically. But if you have a ticking time clock, you can't do that. But there's a monster down there. So I love how that, there's like that. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Interesting dilemma to have.
Yeah. And then I think the final thing that I wanted to bring up about the boats, which really didn't kind of come on the clip, but I think was a part of the adventure, was that how, the boats had hit points, and they were like 50 hit points and 35. One of them was slightly damaged, which kind of did give some extra protection against they're fighting ultimately a plesiosaurus, which with it's like, average damage is like more hit points than each of the characters has. So it's like a really dangerous situation. And they thought having these proxy hit points was a good way to handle that.
Yeah. On a hard tangent, did y'all name these boats?
No, that's part of, no, we didn't. This is, I guess we're going to blame Chris Perkins, since he's the lead designer for this adventure. Those are their names. Yeah. Interesting. Prong Goat and Burly Ram. Both, I suppose, sheep or goat themed names. And yeah, it's interesting. Like, do they have a lot of those up in the 10 towns? You wouldn't think so.
Right.
You think it'd be like fish names or like snow names. Iceberg and the snowball.
The cold wind.
Yeah, right. Right, exactly. That would have been better. Interesting take.
I think I want to take the ready action to ready. Where did it go? I had it open. Sacred Flame for if I see it.
Okay. Somehow the fact that you have the kids has
All right, so
changed
now they're
how
further
things
on.
are working, and the monster rears its head again, and it is going to attack your boat, Lirene. So go ahead and roll a d20, and I'm going to roll for Mara, and the lowest roll gets attacked.
I like how you call out.
There's also a kid in there too.
Roll that.
Yeah, I need a 1. Please. Of course not.
So you got an 18. So Mara will get attacked, and
Or Mara.
her AC is low as a commoner. If it comes to it, I'll check to see what it is.
Served your kids.
He gets a 13. Yeah, so that's going to hit. So
This is where we learn about
the
commoners.
great mouth of the beast opens up, and he bites into Mara, and she takes 12 points of damage, which is well enough to double her hit point maximum. And the great
I'm
beast
glad you're laughing because
bites her in half.
I felt
and the
like
two
laughing.
parts
Right in
of
front of her kids.
Yeah. I'm sorry, children.
Oh,
That's in the dark. It's fine. They can't see.
As this happens, can I use my reaction to use my ready attack?
Yes. Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
yeah. This is how
Sacred
adventure.
Flame,
And
I
since-
need a dex save from the monster.
Okay.
My mother was
all right, here we go.
Dinosaurs.
Gets a total of 8.
That's why I'm
That
an
will
adventurer.
fail, so it takes 1d8,
Okay.
3 radiant damage.
Okay. All right.
So definitely, those kids need to come back as PCs later.
Yeah, that's a good, that's a good idea. The I did really feel badly about this in that in the lead up, the whole story was that the reason the kids were out on the water was that a week ago their dad had died, was eaten by the monster, right? So already they're like, one parent down, and then like the same thing happens to the mom. I definitely was not thinking that this was going to happen, and so sometimes that is. And I was so charged up about how they got Mara to get into the boat. I'm like, wow, this is great. And then she like, oh, it did. I just didn't think ahead. Like she's probably going to die, and then she died. And I think only because they were like there was such a tragedy. They just lost their dad a week ago, and now they saw their mom dead. But it's okay. So D&D can be pretty brutal. And we were laughing about it. I'm glad that it sparked humor. It could have gone, I suppose, the other way. How do you guys handle this type of stuff?
Oh yeah. I mean, at least for me, again, the center of the story are the characters. So for me, it's like, okay, Mara has passed, sad. But what does that do for our characters? Do they now like feel incensed because they brought her on to like fight this monster? Do they see that since the monster took Mara down in one bite, and you did say the number of 12 damage, looking at level 1 character's health, they're like, oh, is this something we can handle? So
Right.
to add to that sense of dread of being in the dark, in the lake, it's cold, we were in these slow moving boats, we watch as the monster literally just wrecks a commoner that can easily wreck us too. So then they get to make a decision from there to fight or run away.
Yeah, and I think for us as sports commentators, we are not as involved in that.
I'm not taking the hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Whereas these players and these characters are like in this moment. We get to step back a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess that's true. Is that for the the characters are the focus of the story? Obviously, I do kind of like that example. I think somebody asked me, like who's the main character in Curse of Strahd? It's Strahd. No, it's the characters, right? It's the players. Those are the main characters. I think because this is an artificial thing, right? We're broadcasting some clips to YouTube, and then there's a larger, not in my case, but in your case, there's a larger audience watching what you're doing. I guess I'm thinking about people watching this. Is it going to freak somebody out that the person died? Probably not. If they play D&D, they get
Right.
it. But
yeah, I mean that's that could the way that we kind of do a lot of role play heavy stuff is at tonight these characters would probably break down realizing what they've done. Yes, they saved the kids potentially, but they also killed their mother. Not they didn't do it, but they facilitated that monster getting her.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And then on a narrative level, where like what's next? Do you take the kids under your wing? Do you find a place for these kids? If that is something they want to pursue, or is it like some other campaigns where it's just like, well, kids, welcome to 10 Towns.
Right.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's a great idea. So should I bring these kids back in the next game that this group plays? Right. Yeah. Right. Origin story for their next enemy. So the other thing that this clip just kind of peripherally talked about was that the player Dragon and his character Lynn Roth cast a spell that was a saving throw spell attack, and when I saw it, I was just made me think about the different types of ways that spellcasters can attack, right? With spells that have spell saves built in and spell attacks, and the strategy. Do you see any tendencies within your players to strategize about that, or is it just based on the moment? I want to cast a fireball, or I want to cast something else.
I think as far as specifically readying an action, if it doesn't go off, you're going to lose whatever that action is.
Yeah.
So if you ready a leveled spell, I mean you might just the creature never showed up and your first level spell slot's gone. So
yes.
Doing a cantrip is really smart. Doing that sacred flame is really smart.
And then also with an unknown enemy, I think either way, you're kind of like information gathering as a player, whether you intend to or not. So to just have the onus of the roll be on the creature, it can reveal some things for like what's it called? For Sacred Flame, is it, even though it's in the water, is it fast moving? So is that dex save going to be higher than if I just readied a mace to smack it?
Yeah, that's smart. And I guess since I'm always DMing, I'm not thinking routinely from a player's perspective of like, how do I learn more about this monster because I already know the stats. But yeah, that's a great point. That the way the different types of spells that you cast can reveal information about the opponent. That's a good point.
Oh, it gets a 23.
Okay. Even with the minus D4, beats it probably.
That's gonna hit.
Yeah.
Because I had casted Blade Ward on myself.
So it is going to. It bites into you. It manages to get through the armor, and
he's got a 19 armor class.
How many hit points do you have?
Oh, jeez.
I have 11.
You're down.
He doesn't have armor.
Healing potion.
The floaties on his
I
armor.
do, conveniently.
Okay.
Well, thank God you do.
And all right, so you've made Dragon. You made your action was attacking.
Yes.
And you still have a bonus action left. What are you going to do with your bonus action?
I don't really have anything. I guess I can use innate sorcery, which will give me
I'm aching to tell him
advantage on any attack roll with a sorcerer spell I cast, and a +1 to my DC. So I might as well use that.
I guess since I put down. You could also use. So go ahead.
Can use the healing potion on him with the bonus action.
Because now in the 2024 rules, healing potion administration is a bonus action. So
yes,
like,
so I will do that instead.
Okay. So it's 2d4 plus 2, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead.
You want to roll them or shall I roll them, Snacks?
You're the one that's administering, so go
Alright.
ahead and roll.
2d4.
Heal me,
4
partner.
plus
Heal me.
2, so 6.
Okay, so you're
So half
up
the
to
damage dealt.
up to
It's
6
not
hit
bad.
points. Hogar, he looked sketchy, but it was good news to have that potion on board. Nice catch, Dragon. That escaped your ally. Okay, so
And
we're
then
back to Lirine.
Can I also?
Oh,
Would I
yes,
be
go
able to
ahead.
use a bonus action? Since it's kind of like at the same time.
Yeah, sure. Everything happens. It's like you're down. You're back up again. Yeah. What's your bonus action?
can I make an
That's a lovely
opportunity
thing.
attack as well as he's getting bit?
A lovely thing about being a first level fighter now is that I can get second wind as a bonus action. And I can use it 2 times.
Nice. Okay.
So I would like to use that to heal myself a little bit more,
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
which will be I remember 1d10 plus 1. So I'm gonna roll d10 plus that 1.
So that clip just showed bonus action healing. A lot of people already did that. What did you guys do in your own stuff?
So yeah, we were doing bonus action to drink it yourself, full action to administer it to someone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the new rules basically make it a bonus action for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I think it really helped in this battle, just because that monster was so powerful. I think it's interestingly enough, I filmed the next battle coming up, and there's not to give it away too much. There's other bonus action healing things now. There used to be healing word, but there's other ones, and it's really powerful, right? Because D&D does swing so much. You see this guy who's got a really high armor class. He's got, I think, for a first level character, 11 hit points. A tough guy goes to 0 and comes back to full health in the span of 6 seconds, which is pretty interesting.
But you can't do that consistently. There's one healing potion, and there's 2 sacred winds. So
yes, right. No, that's true. In this instance, for sure, right? And unless you have somebody who can bonus action heal on a regular basis, right? Very difficult.
And that creature strikes so hard. 12 hit points. 12 hit points.
Yeah, part of it, so part of it, I guess, was artificially set by how I'm organizing this thing as a battle. It was less. I think in Rime of the Frost Maiden, it was written that the plesiosaurus, I think, wasn't designed to actually attack the players. It was gonna mess with them, but not kill them. I kind of felt compelled to bring the possibility of death into it, since it's supposed to be a battle. Anyway,
Yeah.
um,
I guess on like the reverse side of that, for our campaign of Ram of the Frostman, we skipped the entire monster in the lake portion. But at some point, I was re-looking through, and I was like, "Oh, there's a plesiosaurus in the lake." And one of our players walked on over to the lake much later in level, and then they just kind of see like a Nessie head pop out, and then they just interacted with it, because it's actually a kind of spoiler. It's awakened.
Yes, right, yeah.
By a druid in the woods. So I don't remember which voice I gave it, but it was probably some cartoon voice. I was like, "Hey guys, what you doing at the lake?"
Right, yeah. Nice, yeah.
We had encountered the druid a lot earlier, and we found all the statues, so we knew that there was an awakened plesiosaurus out there somewhere.
Okay.
So
nice. Yeah, I like how that things can circle back, and even more in real life they do circle back because you're trying to give extra meaning or bring cool things in, and that's a great example of how that. I like to hear about this different universe where the plesiosaurus had this other adventure.
Right.
I suppose if you're Chris Perkins or anybody who's writing modules, that's got to be really rewarding when somebody comes back to you. I guess like an author who writes a story, but it's that's the thing about this game, right? It's participatory in that you're really influencing what's going on. And I've thought about this before with books, is that of course everybody is participating in a book as well, because you have to imagine the surroundings. You imagine what the chair looks like, what the character looks like, and so reading is participatory as well. But this is like takes it to another level, which it's what makes the game special, or any RPG special for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's participatory with a communal aspect because you get to do it with everybody here and create a story together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what I think people who haven't played an RPG don't see. Like my wife, who looks at me like a space alien, like just doesn't get it. Right. But that's fine.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Her loss. Okay. So let's
like these kids out on the lake.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll just go back one last time and take a look at our last clip.
I kind of want to do something crazy. I want to hold out, like getting ready for the creature to bite, holding out like just a bag of caltrops, and when its mouth gets opened up, I just want to throw it in there.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
So let me roll for what it's supposed to do.
Washed up on the beach.
Oh, also for my bonus action, I do want to use the innate sorcery if I still can.
Okay, yeah, sure. So
it counts to be a slow death.
It surfaces and it's getting ready to attack the boat. So both of you can go ahead and do your prepared things. Let Dragon, since you were first in order, you go ahead and tell me what you're doing. We'll resolve that first, and then we'll get to the
So I'm using Witch Bolt because I used innate sorcery. I get advantage on the attack.
Sweet.
And I got a 15.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Perfect. So it's going to take 2d12 lightning damage.
Okay.
Nice.
Which is 13.
Okay.
And as long as it stays within 60 feet of it, it's linked to me by a chain of lightning. So we know where it's at now.
As long as it stays within 60 feet, it's linked. Wow. Okay. All right.
And I can use a bonus action to keep damaging it every turn.
That's awesome.
Oh, okay. Witch Bolt is now a good spell instead of being an action, and you have to use it every time.
It's not a whole lot of damage, but I was going to...
damage is damage.
Oh, they just broke Witch Bolt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to look over the edge of the boat and whisper sibilantly, "Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Here, fishy, fishy.
Nice.
Oh, fish, oh, fish, oh, fishy, oh."
That clip showed us a couple of things, just some cool role play, and then the new Witch Bolt and innate sorcery, which are both kind of really quite powerful, and they came together powerfully, especially because this was in the water. And as I interpreted, once the Witch Bolt, which looks like lightning, was in effect, that effectively illuminated the plesiosaurus. So when its attack and hide thing kind of like stopped because it was visible because of the Witch Bolt. So it opened up a lot of things. And that's a powerful spell now. And then additionally, innate sorcery, that just seems huge in that you just go like for, it's like a sorcerer rage. That you get both your spell save DC goes up by 1, and you get advantage on all of your spell attacks, which is like, I don't know. We'll see as this campaign goes on. It just seems like super powerful.
Yeah, it just seems, yeah, as you were saying, really powerful, especially at low levels where a single increase on the die of the DC being higher can really amp up especially a plesiosaurus who may be awakened, but at the same time is still meant to be for lower level folk. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. And then also the witch bolt only needing continuing damage on a bonus action. That's like a solid 6 damage every
Yeah.
turn, while you can do another action on top of that. And as a sorcerer, which is very glass cannon, you can really pump out some powerful damage with that ball.
Yeah. There you go. You're getting into it. Exactly. Right. So yeah, this character, incidentally, we had a draft for people could choose like which character class they wanted to be, and Dragon, who he got first pick, and that was the first pick was, I think I forget which sorcerer subclass, but like that was the number one to go in our draft was a sorcerer. And I think that generally people think that they're very powerful now, which is true. I also liked how that spell opened up the visibility thing so that the bard could use Vicious Mockery, which I hadn't realized until then, that the Vicious Mockery was also a hear or see the opponent, which is not intuitive, right? That it seems like more auditory than visual, but maybe this bard is gestures. Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. And I like that bit of role play from Lyrinee, who got into her bard. She was good.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, so that's it. Those are our clips, and thanks so much for joining us. And we're gonna do one of our top 5 episodes from one of your own episodes in a couple of weeks, and so I'm looking forward to that too. James and Thomas, thanks so much for joining me.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And, so at least the episode that I sent was, it also involved awakened animals. So I thought it would be a decent, and it's also, it created one of our most memorable NPCs, were 2 talking horses.
Okay. All right. So, yes, I'm looking forward to that. And then, Ula, who is also he's not in this episode, but he's playing, and then he also helps me out with the top 5. So we'll see that.
Awesome.